Hey everybody, welcome to the Pretend Pundits. If you like the content we're putting out, please consider giving this video a like, subscribing to the channel, and turning on notifications to be notified every single time we go live or upload a video. You can even join in the conversation with us by joining the Discord. The link will be in this video description. Now sit back and enjoy.
Okay, here we go then, boys. Current Prem Overrated 11. Episode number 4 in the series. This one I'm excited about because, just to stipulate, this is players that are currently playing in the Prem or on loan from a Premier League team that we think they're overrated. I don't know about you boys, but I had a couple of struggles on this one because when it comes to overrated players, it's not players that are just poor, it's players that are potentially quite good as well, but they just get overhyped, overrated in the media by the fans of the club. And yeah, there was a lot of players in here that I put down to start off with thinking they are just crap. And then you have to go back and think, actually, they're not overrated, they're just terrible.
Yeah.
So, it'll be a tough one. I think some good debates will arise from this one. So let's kick off then. I'm going to fire over to Sean to give us the goalkeeper to start off with.
Easy one on this one. Dean Henderson.
Ooh.
I think Dean Henderson has been hyped by the English media. They think that he's better than he is. I actually think his positioning is so poor. There was a couple of goals that he's conceded this season, or maybe even last season, where he's so far off his line and the angle just isn't right. I honestly don't think he's a very good goalkeeper. And he, in his mind, thinks he is far better than he is. The media pumps him up to be better because he's English.
Mm-hmm.
Easy choice for me.
That's not a bad shout.
That is a good shout. I did have him originally. I think the biggest person that overrates Dean Henderson is Dean Henderson. Based just on that interview he did. As soon as he went on loan from Man United, he was quick to slag them off. He said about he'd been put in a difficult choice by Man United because he was promised the first number 1 spot, which he was getting. He was. But then he got COVID, didn't he? So, and he had quite bad long COVID, from what I understand. So I think had it not have been for that, he could well have been United's number 1 for a significantly longer time. But De Gea had to come back in, and De Gea stepped up and went back to his best. So I think he was unlucky, but the lack of game time didn't make him that good. I think that he's been let down a lot more by Forest's outfielders.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say he was terrible, but he is overrated. I do agree with you there. Aiden, who have you got, mate?
So I've gone for Jordan Pickford. Because I don't know what it is about him. Everyone just seems to think he's this fucking fantastic goalkeeper, and he's not. He's dog shit. He's not that good for England. For Everton, he's piss poor, and he's just throwing tantrums every time a goal goes in, when half the time it's his fault. Bear in mind, he does have a shit line in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't get it. I don't get the hype around him. Everyone fucking licks his arse, and they're currently sat in relegation. And I just don't think he's good enough. I just don't get the hype around him. I've never understood it with the World Cup. Was it the World Cup that we've just had?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the World Cup, how the hell he got picked over Aaron Ramsdale is beyond me. I will never understand it. I said that throughout the whole of the World Cup. Ramsdale should be starting because he's a more informed keeper. Pickford, don't know why he's in there. Personally,
Yeah.
I don't get it. Don't get it.
It's always difficult because, you know, you have a look at the recent thing we've seen with the England squad that got picked for qualifiers.
Oh,
Like, Pickford always seems to do better in an England shirt, and I'll stand this ground until I die that in the Euros, Pickford was one of our best players, if not our best player. He was phenomenal at the Euros. Ramsdale has got a solid defence in front of him and midfield. Pickford hasn't got that luxury. So it's easy for Ramsdale to look better.
yeah, but you look at. I've seen some of the saves that Ramsdale pulled off. Was it his first season at Arsenal?
I'm not saying Ramsdale isn't better. I'm just saying it's easier for his stats to be increased by the fact he's got a good defence. when
Yeah,
Everton
no, I
have got
agree with
Mason
that.
Holgate and bloody, I don't know, Connor Cody
Ben Godfrey.
and Ben
Yeah.
Godfrey. Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So there's a bit of a difference there. I think I'm going to give you my nomination, but I'm going to concede it already. I think to Dean Henderson, but I went with Ilan Meslier from Leeds. He's
He's been poor this season, hasn't he?
he's been touted as one of the best young keepers. He was good last season, but he only had 5 clean sheets in the league.
So,
Oh shit!
And he's actually on for a better. He's on 5 again this season, I think. So he's already on. If he just gets 1 clean sheet, he's already done better than he's done last season. Again, it's a case of you could argue that he's just being let down by his outfield players because as a keeper, if you're facing a lot more shots on target, it's going to be harder and you're going to get less clean sheets. It's just obvious, isn't it? But I don't think he's that good. I think he's tall. I think he's got potential to be improved in the future. I'd love to see what he could do in a big team. Man United was linked with him for some time as well. But I think there's better options. What's his name? Is it Costa? Who plays for Benfica? I don't remember.
I'm not sure, mate.
Young keepers are very hard to find. Prospects for the future. So I think he might just be put there because he looks like he's about 14. But I don't know. I think it was a good shout, but I mean, I'm happy to concede that one to Dean Henderson, to be honest.
can we clip the part in the Pretend Pundits a couple of weeks ago where Aidan loved Jordan Pickford and said that he would be amazing at Spurs? Can we put that into like a little segue? He said that he was fantastic. He rarely makes mistakes.
Yeah,
So what? Rarely makes mistakes.
Yeah, you said that. I swear you said that.
I must have been on fucking drugs that episode. Sorry, guys. Don't do drugs, kids.
I think you both made the point that he could play for Tottenham. To be fair, so I wouldn't put him as overrated at all. Like, I understand where you're coming from. With that's the thing is, there's a lot of English media bias, but I don't think Pickford is criticised fairly. To be honest, like I said, in the Euros especially, it was ourselves that let us down in the penalty shootout in the final. Pickford did his job and did it well. Like, for someone who's short, he's already got disadvantages to other keepers with his little arms. And he and he made some brilliant saves, I think. So I don't know. I mean, yeah,
Henderson in there, yeah.
Dean Henderson, yeah, I think.
Yeah, go Dean Henderson.
I think that's fair. Right. Defense then. We'll switch it up. We'll go right back to start off with, because I think my choice for right back is almost glaringly obvious. Mark Cucurella of Chelsea.
That's what I've got at right back.
Yeah, I've got him at right back as well. How weird, because he's a left back. We've all him at right back.
Yeah.
It's because there is a more overrated left back in the league, isn't it?
Is there?
Yes.
Let Sean go first here.
Okay.
I'm intrigued by this.
So we're nailing on Cucurella in for right back, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because I've gone for Luke Shaw at left back.
Well. Isn't this interesting?
So have I.
I have got a player that's got less blocks, less everything in defensive stats this season than Luke Shaw, and that's Alexander Zinchenko.
Because he's barely playing at left back. He's more of a centre mid that will come and play left back.
Oh, okay then. So we're saying just because he's not playing at left back. I'm sorry, but Zinchenko, from an Arsenal fan himself, is overrated. Pull up their stats. No, not you.
Oh,
hold on. Give me a second.
Compare their defensive stats in the league this season, and Luke Shaw is clear on everything.
Yeah, but Zinchenko's barely playing at left back.
No, he's not. Where
he's
else
playing
is he playing?
He's playing wing back, but he's overloading the midfield. So I mean, there was so many occasions where he was on the right hand side of the midfield trio last weekend. He covers the whole of midfield, and when Zinchenko's not there, Xhaka fills in at left back.
So what are you saying that Zinchenko's better at than Shaw?
He looks after himself better, and he doesn't eat fast food as much.
So nothing
I
actually statistical then, just an old rumor about Luke Shaw when he was at Southampton.
don't
Luke
think
Shaw's one of the best left backs in the fucking league. That's ridiculous.
you're right. He is overrated, isn't he, Andy? I don't.
Name
I
one
don't
left
think
back. Right, name two left backs better than him in the league this season.
Zinchenko and
Zinchenko's below Shaw in stats, so you can't even say that.
I think that he adds something different. I don't think
you're
it's
just
right
saying,
to
oh,
compare
because
the
he
two.
doesn't do defending, he's better. That's wrong.
I did have Perisic in there for left back because there was a lot of hype when he came in. I did think that he was overrated, but I crossed him out and put Shaw because Shaw is by far the most overrated left back in the league.
He's not, though.
But nobody's saying that Zinchenko's a better left back than Shaw.
Almost every Arsenal fan on social media is. And
But
everyone's praising him, saying, what was that game? After the Man United game, the cameras went to him and all the pundits was going, oh, look at him. Oh, we've taken two of Man City's greatest players.
I don't think anybody thought that we would take two of their greatest players. Everybody was saying he was a.
And everyone's
even
saying
I was.
All the pundits on TV are saying they're leaning on Zinchenko's experience to win a league. His grit and his determination.
They are halfway through a season, but last season people were going 45 million for Gabriel Jesus. That's a lot of money to be spending. And the same again with Zinchenko. I don't think we paid as much for Zinchenko as we did for Jesus, but yeah, I think now he's getting the respect that he should be getting. But yeah, I don't think he is a left back in the Luke Shaw world. I think he's to put them against each other on a head-to-head stats. I think you'd be it's like comparing apples and oranges.
But then to say that Luke Shaw is overrated is ridiculous when he's actually being one of the best left backs in the league. One of the best left backs in the league went out on loan to Bayern Munich in winter.
So
there's no left back better than Luke Shaw in the league at the minute, and there's no denying that.
So Zinchenko's probably been one of our most important players, and yet we find ourselves quite high above you guys. Is Luke Shaw one of the most important players for you guys?
I don't understand what you mean by important. Like,
if Zinchenko doesn't play, then we don't play the way that we currently play because we overload that midfield.
Well, no, you said that about Partey.
He's very important. Partey. If Partey doesn't play, he's very important. They're all very important. But if you don't have Luke Shaw, your whole team doesn't change.
Well, it does because Malacia plays, and he does. Luke Shaw has filled in at centre back this season as well.
Yeah. I'm just saying that you don't have to change the entire team to suit missing Luke Shaw. You could play
Luke Shaw's
Malacia.
defensive stats in the Premier League this season: 11 blocks, Zinchenko 0, 25 interceptions, Zinchenko 16, 38 tackles, Zinchenko 32. Clearances 40, Zinchenko 20. Headed clearances 21, Zinchenko 14.
Have you got midfielder stats there as well? So if
what do you mean midfielder stats? He's a left back.
You know, he's no.
Right. Let me just chime in with one thing here, right?
Yeah.
So I see where Sean's coming from here, in a sense, right? Listen, when they do the Arsenal lineup, it will show Zinchenko's a left back.
Yeah.
But Arsenal style of play, with their left
I'm not
back,
so much arguing about Zinchenko. I'm arguing about Luke Shaw isn't overrated when he's putting up the best numbers in the Premier League.
What I'm saying, Zinchenko, with their positioning, when he's saying he's a midfielder, he's saying Zinchenko comes inside to the middle of the pitch.
Yeah.
As an inverted wing back.
So he's not
a fullback. He's not a defensive fullback.
So does Luke
He's
Shaw.
Like an inverted wing back. So he comes into the middle of the pitch and plays a central position.
So does Luke Shaw. Both Man United's fullbacks do that. Look at Wan-Bissaka when he was playing against City. He was 1-2-ing down the fucking sideline with Sancho.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
And Luke
you see
Shaw
Luke
does it
Shaw
with Rashford.
high you see Luke Shaw up the pitch, don't you? In their half, crossing a lot. He's whipping the balls in, whereas Zinchenko's playing from that central role, around like the edge of the centre circle, playing the balls in over the top or playing through balls. He's very rarely out wide, crossing and defending as a fullback. He comes into the middle and another midfielder will cover or he'll be able to drop back. Zinchenko's not like naturally a wing back. He's more of a central midfielder who plays left back.
So
He
what,
comes in.
what are you saying that Zinchenko's most important part of his game is then and contribution to Arsenal?
He's more diverse and able to do more things.
Like what?
He actually plays midfielder, I think, for the Ukraine as well.
Luke Shaw, more touches. Zinchenko passes backwards, 199. Luke Shaw, 150. So he's passing backwards. Passes forward, Luke Shaw, 519. Zinchenko, 386. Big chances created, Luke Shaw, 6. Zinchenko, 2. So now tell me he's better than Luke Shaw.
I'm just saying he's more important than Luke Shaw, not better than Luke Shaw. I'm not debating that Luke Shaw's a very good defender. I'm just saying in terms of he's overrated.
I'm not saying that Luke Shaw's important either, but we've got other people who can play in his position, just not as well. Who would you rather pick if you had to pick a team for Man United tomorrow to win a game? Who would you pick, Luke Shaw or Malacia?
Right. Do you think
answer that question. Who would you pick, Luke Shaw or Malacia?
You'd want Luke Shaw for sure.
Exactly. So he is important then.
Yeah. Yeah, but is he more important? Is he one of the first 3 names you put on the team sheet?
Well, not when you've got bloody Casemiro there. I don't even know who the first 3 are. Probably Varane, Martinez, and Casemiro.
Is he the top 5? Would you then go Luke Shaw?
I'd put him first choice fullback. Yeah.
Can you say, this is going to be interesting, can you say Luke Shaw performs consistently every week? He's consistent every week.
Yes. He goes through spells where he'll be bad for a few months and then he'll be out the team.
But then that's not consistency.
That's not consistent.
That's not consistency then, is it?
So,
but he's still got the hype of his good peaks, but he never gets the.
But then he's out of the team.
Yeah, but he never gets the.
Luke Shaw.
Then why is he out of the
his
team?
worst performance this season was when we lost 4-0 to Brentford, and he was out. And then he's come back into the team, and then he's put up these numbers after that.
Okay, right. If you look back to when we first started doing Pretend Pundits, one of the videos there is a video of you going in on Luke Shaw.
I don't go in on Luke Shaw. I say that he has times where he'll go out of form. His consistency will be within a stint of months. So he'll have bad form and then he'll have good form, like every single fucking player in the league has. But I'm sorry, but to call Luke Shaw overrated, when he's on his best, he was our best player in the fucking Euro squad for England. He's been very clearly better player than Zinchenko, and you're going to still try and argue to put him in here.
I just think he's rated higher than he is, and he never gets his recognition.
What do you mean rated higher than he is? His stats here prove that he's better than Zinchenko.
Because that's fine. But Zinchenko's not rated as high as him.
Yes, he is. You've just said he's important.
Do you right? Fuck it.
You've just said he's one of the most important players to you. So how can he not be rated highly?
He's rated highly. He's not overrated. He's not overrated. I think he's average. He's rated exactly where he should be.
Do you? Fuck! I can't even speak. This is incredible.
This is mad. If Luke Shaw goes into this team, then the whole thing's just a fucking joke.
Do you think Luke Shaw's the best left back in the league?
He is.
Honestly, come on.
Who's better? Name one.
Andy Robertson. Miles better.
Okay.
By a million
We're doing
miles.
a current season.
Current season?
That's what we're doing, isn't it? Current season, overrated.
We're doing current players.
What makes?
I mean, we couldn't go just off this season. The season's not even finished yet.
Would you want to compare Luke Shaw to Robertson then? Are you saying that Andy Robertson's overrated or what? I don't know.
No, I'd say Andy Robertson's the better left back. That's just my opinion. I think Andy Robertson is a
More-
better left back.
He's more
Yeah.
decorated.
Statistically, assists. Like him and Trent Alexander were having a fucking competition that season, weren't they? To see how many fucking assists they got. I think they both ended up on like 15 or something stupid, if not more. And that was just for fun.
Who's next?
I think Robertson is better, but he's not in the conversation right now. So let's go back to Zinchenko and Shaw. I'm fucking loving this.
So I would say in terms of ability as a left back, I would say Luke Shaw is better than Zinchenko. But
he's overrated.
Because he never gets the recognition when he's in poor form. Everybody still goes, how amazing Luke Shaw is. It's like when he hits that level, nobody ever recognises when he starts to play poorly. And I think he's just, I think he's very good.
Everyone recognises when he plays poorly because he gets dropped from the team and Malacia comes in. Exactly what happened after the Brentford loss.
How many games? Only a handful of games, wasn't it?
Malacia was in for about 6 or 7 games. Luke Shaw had to fight his way back into Erik ten Hag's first choice.
He's overrated. I think
I'm happy to say, okay, we'll pick someone that's not Zinchenko, but I'm not having Luke Shaw as overrated when he's the best in the league.
Okay, well, we'll see. Aiden, who have you got?
So, Malassia's made 15 appearances this season in the Premier League.
As sub appearances.
I'm assuming, I don't know, it just has 15 appearances.
Luke Shaw's made 22.
So I'm assuming a lot of them are off the bench.
Well, we've only played 26 games, so...
Yeah, I don't know how many starts or whatever. So I've picked Luke Shaw. I picked Luke Shaw. You picked Luke Shaw and Andy's picked Zinchenko. I don't even know what to say at this point.
Luke Shaw can't be overrated when he's the current best in the league.
Is he the current best in the league?
I think you can still be the best player in the league. And we'll get to another one that I know that you won't like. But
oh god.
But
this will be a long video, isn't it?
But you can still be the best player in the league, but you can still be overrated. People will think that because people think that you're better than you currently are.
What do you mean better than best in the league? This is crazy.
Because people will say, and I've got a player down here that somebody will say he is a contender for the Ballon d'Or, and he is not at that level. And this is what I'm saying. People are saying that Luke Shaw is world class, and I don't think he's world class.
I'm not saying he's world class, but he's the best in the league.
No, but people are saying he's world class because he perhaps is one of the best in the league. But people are saying, and these are other fans, not Man United fans.
Yeah, but people are saying that Arsenal are leaning on Zinchenko to win the league. So
because of his importance to the team. But I'm not saying that that Zinchenko's world class, but a lot of Man United fans, maybe it's not you that says it, but other Man United fans are saying he is world class.
Exactly like Aiden said in the past. I've said that Luke Shaw will have a spell. He won't have a good game, bad game, good game, bad game. He'll be shit for 2 months, and then he'll be great for 3 months, and then he'll be shit for a month, and then he'll be great for 6 months. But there are players that go bad from game to game.
I get that. It's just I think that he's rated higher than he is, and I get that he's a very good player, a very good left back, but I think that he's rated higher. I think Chilwell, for example, in an England shirt, should get more opportunities when Luke Shaw is not playing well, but instead, because Luke Shaw is rated that highly, he goes straight in at left back.
Shaw is getting the recognition that he finally deserves because he is the best in the league at this time.
Yeah, currently.
So you can't be the best and overrated. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous.
You can still be rated higher than you actually are.
You can't be the best in your position in the Prem and be overrated. I'm sorry, but you can't.
I'm fucking crying here.
You can't. That's like you saying that Marcus Rashford is overrated because he's scored the most Premier League goal. He's scored the most goals of any league in Europe since the World Cup by 5 goals.
I'll give you a really good example of players that are overrated, just to settle this one.
And
is
best in their position.
Luka Modric, for example, won the Ballon d'Or in a season where he didn't deserve it. So he was rated as the best in the world, but everybody acknowledges that that season there were better players that should have won that. And that's what I'm saying about Luke Shaw is might be statistically the best left back in the country, in the league, but he's rated higher than he actually is. His actual ability as a player, he's rated higher.
This is just a fucking joke.
What do you reckon? So we got
Aiden, you're just gonna say sure anyway, but I don't see how you can put him in. I don't see how the best person in that position this season you can call them overrated.
Well, I initially picked Shaw, so I feel as though we're gonna have to go with Shaw.
That's fine, but that just makes the rest of the team a fucking joke then and pointless. Right, the rest of my team then: Saliba, Gabriel, Odegaard, Xhaka, Partey, Martinelli, Saka, and Jesus. There you go. There's the rest of my nominations. Fucking joke.
Right, so we've done our fullbacks. Should we go on to centre backs?
Yeah, the best left back in the league is overrated. So let's do centre backs.
Oh
Do you want to kick us off then, Andy?
Let me guess: Martinez, Varane.
no, they're not
No.
mine.
No, neither of those. Do you
Who you
want
got?
to do yours?
Go for it.
I've gone Eric Dyer.
I've got Eric Dyer.
But he's just shit though. He's not overrated.
He's getting into the England team. I don't understand it.
Yeah,
Southgate
like
rates
Tottenham
him. No
fans.
fucker else
Yeah,
does.
fucking Tottenham fans don't seem to have a fucking issue with him. I just don't understand it. He's absolutely dog shit. And I don't think he's a centre back. I think he's more of a holding midfielder.
I agree there. Yeah.
I just can't comprehend how he even plays football anymore at this rate as a centre back. I think maybe if you played him higher up, like I say, centre midfield, holding midfielder, he might perform better. But as a centre back, fucking hell, woeful.
Okay.
I think Jose Mourinho tried to transition him, didn't he? When he was at Spurs, he was saying that you can make centre back your own position, but you've got to pick and nail on a position that you want to play in, because he was flip flopping between the defensive mid and centre back when they had injuries. But he's not. I don't think he's a centre back personally.
Mourinho liked him because he spoke Portuguese, and I think he was like, right, I don't want you in the midfield because you're a liability. You're big. Let me just put you at centre back and see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a weird one for me because I don't speak to anyone that rates him. But I get where you're coming from. He's been picked for the England squad for the qualifier, so that's weird. My first choice then at centre back, I've got Joel Matip. I think Liverpool fans were calling him one of the best in the league after Van Dijk, obviously, but he's just shit. The amount of errors he's had leading to goals this season. He's putting up worse numbers than Harry Maguire, who I think doesn't belong in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So
I didn't think of Matip, actually. That's a really good shout.
Yeah, Matip's not a bad shout, to be fair.
He's like, he doesn't think this much of himself, but Liverpool fans seem to compare him last season to like the greatest team. They were putting him in their team. Can you remember when Liverpool won the league one season and then won the Champions League the next season, and then started comparing us to the 99 treble winning United team and saying, yeah, I'd have Matip over Yapstam and stuff like that. That's
because they were saying that Van Dijk was the best defender that's ever played in the Premier League as well.
Yeah. I mean, Van Dijk's got a case. He's been player of the season. He's certainly better than Matip. But yeah, for them to be putting Matip up there was just a joke. I think Van Dijk's got time to go. Matip, I think we've seen the best of and worst of. So
yeah, Matip's not a bad shout, to be fair.
Who's your second choice?
John, go ahead.
So I've got Emerick Laporte.
Ooh,
that's odd.
Yeah, I just.
Isn't he like Pep's first choice at the moment?
Currently, yeah.
I think it's because of injuries, though. Otherwise, there'd be Ruben Diaz would be in there and John Stones. Like, let's be honest, them two aren't getting nudged out of that team. Apart from obviously injuries. I just think, I don't know. There's a lot of hype around him. I remember when he first signed, I did think I was like, fucking hell, this is a great signing for City. But then it's just not really done anything. But I think City fans and people still spaff over him. And I just don't understand the hype around it. He's not done anything. He's just slowest centre back I've ever seen in my life. Like, he's up there with Per Mertesacker slow. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't get it, personally. I don't think he's done a great deal at City.
I don't think he's
He fills
their
in,
best,
but
I don't think he's overrated as such. He plays a part in a defence that doesn't lose a lot of games, so...
Not really tested, is he?
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, not...
Sean, who's your second
Yeah, that's my
choice?
choice.
And I know that this will trigger Aiden. Tyrone Mings. I do not understand the hype about Tyrone Mings. I just think he's...
Are you taking the piss?
I think he's a left back that's playing centre back.
He's 6'6".
Yeah, and he's terrible.
No, mate. No, you look at his stats from when we've had him in. Villa stats every time he's played. We've won more games with him in the team. He's solid for us.
I didn't like the way that he picked up and threw Saka and didn't get a fucking penalty for that.
Well, fucking hell. We've had that many people fucking diving against us. It's about time one went our way.
I think Tyrone Mings, he gets in the England side. I don't understand how he gets in the England side. Is he in
He's not in the England side.
He's not
in this time, but he has been in it.
He should be in it instead of Dyer, though.
Yeah, but Dyer's normally in there with him.
No, mate, you can't be.
Who would... Right, you've got to pick a defender to go to the World Cup, Sean, out of Maguire, Dyer and Mings.
Maguire.
You're taking Maguire?
Honestly,
you sure?
Because we've all said it. Maguire plays far better for England than he does for Man United.
Yeah, that's because he normally plays in a back five with two holding midfielders.
Yeah.
So you're more protected.
Yes. So that's why I would choose Maguire. If I was in England,
Who would be your second choice?
I'd choose Mings, first choice. And then
would
Maguire.
You really?
I'd
After
choose
Maguire,
Mings,
would
Maguire,
you pick Dyer or
Dyer.
Mings?
I would choose Mings over Dyer because I think Dyer is far worse. But I just think that Mings has got so many mistakes in him, and I personally don't think he's a centre back. I think he's a left back. I think he's got good pace, and I think he reads the ball better on that left hand side.
I'm fucking speechless.
I don't hear many people rate Mings other than Aiden anyway, so I wouldn't say he's overrated.
No. Everyone fucking hates Mings for some reason.
I think he's not the best in the league by miles, but he's certainly
No,
not
he's
the
not,
worst.
but
He's a steady Eddie. He'll do a job for you, and that's it, I think.
Fucking Tyrone Mings.
Who was your second choice, Aiden?
Fucking hell, I've fucking done mine. Dyer and Laporte.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe you brought my boy into this.
Mate,
I can't believe it.
I can believe that he said it after bringing the best left back in the league into it.
I fucking wish I picked Zinchenko now.
It's not too late to change your mind.
It's too late, Andy. It's too late.
It's not. We can cement it in after the video. But if you want to change it, Aiden.
Fucking hell.
I haven't got any Aston Villa players, Aiden. If you
I
want to
will
change your
fucking.
mind.
I will die. I will fucking fight for Tyrone Mings not to be in this team.
I can't see Tyrone Mings being in it myself, just as overrated. My last choice for centre back is Koulibaly from Chelsea.
Oh,
that's a really good shout.
That's a good shout.
He's been really poor.
He came in, gave the desired effect. I don't know whether it's just the Potter effect making everyone play bad at the moment, but Napoli priced him out of a move to the Premier League for such a long time, and I worried that the same is going to happen with Osimhen. Every time Man United went knocking for Koulibaly when he was younger, give us 180 million or something. They just kept making up a number, picking a number out of the air, for a player that had only done it in Serie A, and he never did it in the Prem, and probably won't do it in the Prem for one of the. Wasn't he in the team of the year last season for the Serie A? Not last year, the season before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he
normally is in Serie A, isn't he?
So yeah, for me, his impact in the Serie A hasn't translated to the Prem. I still think he's living off of his Serie A reputation, so he's in there for me.
Yeah, I can agree with Koulibaly.
Yeah.
So who are we going for our 2 then?
I think
I think it's between. I think we've got Dyer,
I think, yeah,
Matip and Mings.
Matip, and
Oh, and
Mings.
Laporte.
Matip, Dyer, Mings,
Koulibaly.
Koulibaly. I think Koulibaly then. So it's either going to be Matip or Dyer.
Yeah, if you're looking at them being overrated, I think I've got to go with Matip
Yeah,
because the Liverpool fans, they loved him. They weekly
I
noshed
agree.
him off. Yeah, he's not the level that the Liverpool fans said he is, and this season he's been really found out. Though I don't think he's playing much at the moment. Is he injured? I don't know. He's
Yeah,
just,
he is, because that's why Joe Gomez has stepped in.
he's another
Yeah,
overrated
and then
player.
Joe Gomez got injured as well, didn't he?
Oh, I don't know, has he?
It's a bit of a mess.
So we've got Koulibaly and Matip.
Yeah.
Right.
So that finishes the goalkeepers and defence then. So
Yeah.
that will be Dean Henderson in goal, Luke Shaw left back, Mark Cucurella right back, Joel Matip and Kalidou Koulibaly in the centre backs.
Yeah.
Midfield. Now, this again was not easy because there's a player in here, and I'll probably just spit them out first, to be honest. There's a player in here that was overrated but isn't anymore, and that's Dele Alli. Is he really even rated anymore?
I don't think so. I think he's been banished by the Turkish team he's gone to.
He sort of looked at, where is he? Besiktas, right?
Besiktas, yeah.
So he was looked at as wasted potential, and I think now everyone looks at him like everyone's going, where did it go wrong with Dele Alli? So there's probably no revival there. But
Yeah.
Again, it was hard to pick out players, so I'm happy to give that one up. But
Okay. Do you want to go, Sean?
I've gone for Gibbs White because I think
I've got him in my forwards.
Have you?
Yeah.
I've got a few players on here that I'm going to play a little bit out of position, but Gibbs White, I think, is, in terms of his ability, I think he's a really good player, but £40 million for a player that didn't really do much at Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Wolves last season? He's gone to Forest, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He looks talented, but I think it's probably too soon, and I think, that overrated stamp is on him at the moment. I think until he proves himself.
Wasn't he at loan at Sheffield United?
Yeah, he was. He performed quite well at Sheffield United, to be fair to him.
Yeah, but then he's come up to the Prem, like you say, his price tag would command a lot more of him.
Yeah.
And when, like you say, when he moved, I don't know whether it was the price tag or whether the expectations was high of him, but yeah, he's in my forward line because he primarily plays as an attacking midfielder, doesn't he? But
yeah,
I think you're spot on there with that shout.
So my first one I'm going to go with is Harry Winks from Tottenham.
Okay.
No, I've never understood the hype around him. I've heard so many people say that he's so good and he's such a good little player and everyone would love to have him, but what does he actually do? Like, he does nothing. He's like a very, 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 very poor Kante. Other than that, he doesn't do anything else. Like, he's just someone you just took on the bench to fill up your numbers. I just think he's awful, but I've heard so many people raving about him, and I've just never ever understood the hype around him.
No,
I only ever hear Spurs fans rate Winks, and has he left? Has he left Spurs now, or is he still on loan?
I think he's at Spurs, isn't he?
I thought he was on loan somewhere. Could be wrong.
He's very similar to Oliver Skip. I think Oliver Skip and White. Sorry, not White. Winks, sorry, is exactly the same type of player. He does nothing spectacularly.
Yeah, he's on loan at Sampdoria in Italy.
Yeah, but he seems to have such a high reputation. I think Winks even has a couple of England caps under his belt as well. Yeah. I don't get it.
There was a period where Southgate was just giving out caps, though, wasn't there?
Yeah, just for a laugh.
For a lot of players, which I like to see in the really unimportant games. I do like to see that, but when it comes to qualifiers, I think we need to be picking our best team and playing like it's important, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that shout. We'll go through the complete midfielders then, just to see who we've got matching up. My second one, I think, is obvious. It's Mason Mount.
Yeah, second
Yeah.
that.
I've got that.
Lauded for just being overrated all the time. I think Chelsea
Yeah.
fans make out like he's the second coming of bloody Pele or something. I think he's in the
Yeah.
England team a lot because he's very social media friendly, the same as Jack Grealish. I think the England camp like to pick players that are good on camera and are clickable, if that makes sense. And now they're talking about Mason Mount has actually appointed a new agent, and they're saying that he's going to be getting a move to Liverpool, Man United, blah, blah, blah. I don't want him anywhere near my club. I do not.
No.
No.
I wouldn't even have him at Villa.
Why? I don't understand. Like, almost every person I have a conversation with, whether it's you guys, people at work, or some other friends that I speak to about Mason Mount, no one rates him. Some Chelsea fans don't even rate him. But yeah, he's always in the England team. He's always in the Chelsea team. And he's always on England's TikToks, and he's everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's on about getting £300,000 a week as well, wherever he goes, and that is purely just agent waffle to try and get him the best deal that he possibly can. There is no way that he contributes £300,000 a week worth of input on the games. It's ludicrous.
Yeah, not a chance.
Right. Yeah. Okay, Mason Mount, you are straight in the midfield then, mate.
Yeah.
Talk us through your. Did you say you both had Mount as well?
Yeah, we both had Mount, mate.
Okay, Aidan, give us your third midfielder.
Calvin Phillips.
Okay.
Calvin Phillips.
When
he was at Leeds, like, don't get me wrong, he's a good player. He's a good player. When he was at Leeds, they thought the sun shined out his fucking arse and thought he was the best thing since sliced bread. And he got this big money move to Man City now. And somehow he's not played any football, but yet he's that overrated. He's still getting called up to the England squad.
Mm-hmm.
He's played barely 2 minutes for Man City this season. He's done nothing. I don't understand it.
You don't get a name Yorkshire Perlo for no reason, right?
Oh, come on, mate. Yorkshire Perlo, I'd want to be seeing assists. I'd love to know his assists. I'd love to see. I'm going to fucking look.
I think he's only played 40 or 50 Premier League minutes this season as well, which is just obscene for a player that was so important.
He played 40 minutes in the World Cup as well.
Did he?
I think it was 8 minutes against Senegal and then half an hour against, was it France after that?
That's what I mean. So where has Southgate gone? Yeah, he deserves a shot. In 40 minutes of football?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense.
No.
What do you think it is that's actually stopping him anyway from getting into the fold at Man City?
Rodri.
Yeah, but why is he not getting put in during the cup competitions then?
I think
he's not good enough.
I think Pep wants to. He's not having the greatest of seasons in the Premier League currently, and perhaps he wants to go for all the other trophies that are available.
But even early days, he had the chance to play him, right, and just didn't. So
he was injured at the beginning of the season. Calvin Phillips was.
Yeah. And I reckon he come back overweight from the World Cup, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Was that a fact, or was that?
Yeah, I think did Pep say he was 2 stone overweight or something?
I don't know.
Was it 2 stone?
Obviously, the internet picks it up and then takes it to the extreme. But yeah, when you're overweight, then you're not getting in for a bit, are you?
I think I might be confusing him with Lukaku.
Oh dear.
Two very different people. Do you want my third choice centre midfielder?
Yes, please, mate.
So I had the players to fit into the team, and I think that Jack Grealish is far more hyped than he actually is. I think that he's a good player, and I can see the glimmers of ability in there. But I think for £100 million, you want more from that player, and I don't think he's currently given it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you just say Jack Grealish?
He did.
I completely. I think my mind just automatically blanked it out. I heard 100 million, so I assumed he was on about my baby boy Jack.
Yep.
I think he's overrated.
Come on.
I can see that. I can see that. I haven't got him in my team, but I think Aiden, even with your alliances to Jack Grealish, I think you can agree that is a fair criticism. £100 million has
I
it given
fully
£100
agree.
million worth?
I fully agree. The £100 million price tag has fucked him. 100%. Like, he's not stepped to 100 million. Like, you look at 100 million, you want like Bale performances, Ronaldo. Like, how much did Ronaldo cost Real Madrid? He was on less than 100 million. Do you know what I mean?
It's the same
You want
as
to see big
Maguire.
performances.
It's the same as Maguire. If Man United had bought Maguire for 30 million, he'd be out of the team. There'd be no questions asked. But it was the fact we paid 80 million for him, let him be shit, and made him captain.
But the difference with Maguire is that he's rightly being criticised for poor performances. And at the beginning of the season, Jack Grealish, for a long period of time, didn't register the type of goals and assists. Even now, I don't think he's in double digits. Is he? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't think Maguire's rightly criticised all the time. I think that the media give him a bit of a.
They give him a bit of a pass, don't they?
There's something about him. He just seems to get away with it. Like, he just looks like, especially when he's on the ball, like he just looks uncomfortable. He looks like, I don't know. You don't even know why he's there sometimes. This isn't a Maguire slagging off thing, but yeah. Price tag Jack Grealish. I think I can see it. He's not in my team, but I can see it completely.
Yeah, he's got 3 goals and 4 assists this season.
Yeah,
bear in mind he's not played a lot. Recently, his performances have been a lot better. He's been more consistent, and Pep has trusted him to start a lot more.
But Foden's been out of the team because he's been poor lately, and he's starting to come back in because Jack Grealish has gone bad again.
So it's again, he's not consistent, but I can't say he's overrated. Like, look what he did at Villa. When he had the freedom to play, when he was at Villa, his stats were unbelievable.
I think he was fairly rated at Villa, but if he'd have gone for 50 million, I don't think you could say he's overrated at City. But he didn't. He went for 100 million. 6 goals and 10 assists in his last season for Villa.
Yeah, he was very much England's poster boy as well, wasn't he? Like,
yeah,
you look at who it's been in the past. It's been Michael Owen, David Beckham. You know, all these England's greats, but in the age of social media now, they just want someone who's
got a pretty face.
Exactly, someone who's got a pretty face, something a bit different about them, and interactive on social media. And I think that's where he gets the look over.
Yeah.
I can see it, but yeah.
I've seen some people calling him the Brum Beckham, and I hate it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. The Brum Beckham.
Brum Beckham.
The disrespect to Beckham is outrageous in that statement.
Yeah, that is awful. Poor Becks. But no, me personally, I cannot go Jack Grealish. Like, I can't. Like, I don't think he's over. I think because of his price tag, yeah, overrated. But when he plays, he performs. Like, he does. He's. Oh.
Right.
I just think. No, I don't think he could be in there, personally.
I'll give you my third. Just to throw into the mix. Again, this one is a tough one because I think it's someone who had expectations to perform and hasn't. But I wouldn't say they're highly rated at the minute. Lucas Paqueta at West Ham. Another player similar to Koulibaly. They've come in with big expectations. West Ham wanted to make a statement of bringing players in to elevate them from Europa League places and push on. Paqueta's come in amongst others, and he's meant to be the creator in that team, score goals, create chances, but he's not really up to the level at the minute. I don't think it's fair to put it all on him, but I was shocked. It felt like a slap round the face when Paqueta went to West Ham. I was thinking he can do better than that, surely. But
yeah, I was gonna say that was a hell of a signing.
I think he should be doing better than what he is. So maybe
I agree.
In League One he found his level, perhaps, or maybe we're yet to see the best of him. But for me, he's rated too highly.
Yeah. So Who'll be picking us or two?
So Mount is definitely in there.
Mount's
Mount's
in.
definitely.
I think
Mount's in.
we can get behind Calvin Phillips purely
Yeah.
because he's nicknamed the Yorkshire Perlo.
Yeah.
And if that's
Yes.
not overrating someone, I don't know what is.
And
Yeah.
so, as the Yorkshire Perlo, his he has in 165 appearances. No, basically, he's got 14 assists in his playing career.
Wow. And to be compared to Perlo,
Is fucking poor.
yeah.
That is overhyped.
I think because
Definitely.
Sean's got him, I've got him in my forwards, so I'm going to have one nomination short here. Morgan Gibbs White.
Yeah.
So is that going to be our middle three? Gibbs, White, Phillips, and Mount.
I think so, unless you think that either Paqueta, Grealish, or
Nope, I'm fine with the middle three, mate. Let's move on.
quick before he changes it.
Let's have a conversation about Grealish.
Let's not talk about Grealish because I will fucking cry my eyes out.
So yeah, Mason Mount, Calvin Phillips, and Morgan Gibbs White complete in the midfield three. Then,
Yeah.
Sean, kick us off with the attacker that we've all got in our team. I think you know who we've all three of us have picked.
Oh,
I know that you guys must have put Richarlison in it, but Richarlison is not. Well, however you pronounce it, but he's actually not in my team.
Why?
Because I've been slamming him, and I feel like people are starting to also slam him as well at the moment as a weird pigeon man. But I've gone for a bit of a weird one. I've got Raul Jimenez up front, and I'd like to.
Not Raul Jimenez. He bloody cracked his skull. The poor guy.
yeah.
Do you know how many goals Raul Jimenez has this season?
He's got a broken
One.
skull.
0. And I think that
But Wolves as a
yeah,
team,
Wolves aren't playing very
scoring
well.
goals.
Yeah, but I think that there's a lot more. Yeah, he cracked his skull, and yeah, that was awful.
Poor
It really
guy.
was awful. And it was David Luiz's big old head that cracked it. But a lot of people rate Raul Jimenez as a really good striker in the Premier League, or one of the better ones.
I don't know
out and out
if they do,
striker.
though, do they?
Maybe
I
it's
mean,
just
When you go
it's
to
just me.
Wolves, and you think
fair-
players that need to get out of there, you think straight away Ruben Neves.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
don't know.
of Jimenez at all.
I think Jimenez was probably one of the most informed strikers in the league for a number of years until that point where he got that injury. Ever since that injury, he's not been the same player.
And I don't think he's
It's
been
the same
rated
with-
highly either, to be honest.
It's the same with Radamel. Like, do you remember Radamel Falcao?
Yeah.
oh yeah.
He was quality. Then he got a bit of a bad injury, and he just never became the same striker again. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is quite a tough one for Jimenez.
I think it would be hard because when you tell me Wolves now, I don't. If you was to say to me Wolves' best players, I'd immediately go Ruben Neves, their goalkeeper Jose Sarr, and then I'd say probably Cunha or Fabio Silva. No, what's his name? The youngster, Fabio Silva.
Fabio Silva.
I think he's moved to Anderlecht now, but
Is he?
yeah, they've also got
loan.
they've got Neto as well. I actually think Neto is one of the best players that they have there.
Yeah.
I feel like nobody knows that currently.
Yeah.
And I'd love to pick him up for 30 odd million or something because nobody knows that.
Yeah.
So scouts, if you're listening, don't look at Neto.
Yeah. No, but have you got Richarlison in your team, Aiden?
So I've got Richarlison, yeah.
Yeah, I had to put him in there because, yeah, like you said, similar to your reasoning with Grealish, 60 million, not a single Premier League goal. I had an argument online with a Spurs fan about him the other day, and that delusion is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I just think he keeps getting picked as well. Like a person who went under the radar for me, I haven't put him in my team, spoiler alert, but I almost did, was Son. Because he's not producing either. So,
yeah, he's not been fucking great, has he?
So Conte has got a really difficult choice, and that will explain the reason he had an absolute meltdown in the press conference. He's got a choice between Son, who's not performing, and their shiny new signing, who also isn't scoring, and when he is, he's offside.
takes his shirt off and celebrates, and it's like, ah.
Yeah. So go through. Give us your second choice, Sean. I say obviously my second choice is Gibbs White, who's already in the mid. So
So
I'm
I've
out of this one.
chosen. Is it Ahmad Diallo? I think his first name is Ahmad.
On loan at
The
Sunderland.
United player.
Yeah, I know it's going to sound really, really weird, but there was so much hype about him coming. Did you spend 30 million on him?
It was 32, yeah.
32 million on him, and what has he done?
And that was
He-
he scored on his debut in the Europa League
Yeah.
against AC Milan.
Everybody thought, what a player! He's gone to Rangers, he's flopped. I think he went to Birmingham and flopped. He's doing well at Sunderland.
I was going to say Sunderland are saying, please, can we keep him because he's doing so
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
32 million. I don't really get. I don't get it. I don't feel like he's a 30. You could have signed who's Star from Watford for the same money, and I think that would have given you far better return for your money than Ahmad Diallo.
I think the reason that he was so much was a combination of one, Man United overpaying, and two, because this is what Fabrizio Romano was saying at the time, so I've got no reason to doubt it, is that a lot of the top teams in Italy wanted him, and they had to pay over the odds to get him to England, which is where he wanted to go. I don't know. I wouldn't say he's overrated because he's just an exciting prospect, and he's not really played for us that much.
I just don't think he'll ever reach the potential that everybody thought he would, and that's why I understand why we wouldn't pick him in our team.
He came in at the same time as Sancho as well, so you can't really drop. The price that you're paying for Sancho, you couldn't drop him.
Yeah,
to try and get Diallo in, but he's okay. He looks exciting. He's probably one for the future. I don't know about overrated though. I just think maybe I can say overspending at a push, but does anyone rate him apart from Sunderland fans?
He just reminded me I should have put Sancho in this team. Damn it.
Oh no. Anyway, who's your second choice, Aidan?
Adama Traore.
Oh God.
I fucking hate him.
I get that. I really do.
Yeah. Got to move to Barcelona. Talks about him going to Tottenham for however much money, and what has he done? Apart from that shit ass volley that he scored the other day that everyone was fucking getting all jerked off about. Shit house. No, he's useless. Not a footballer. I'll always say it. Rugby player. Overrated. Overrated piece of shit.
I could get behind the Traore one, to be honest.
Yeah, but... I get that.
Okay, Sean, give us your third choice. I'll leave my third choice till the end.
This is going to make it very difficult with you then, because I've put Rashford there. I think in terms of him as a player.
Wait, hold on.
Who's your third?
I can hear the steam coming out of Andy's ears.
Aidan, who's your third choice, mate? Can you try and bring this conversation to some sort of sense?
I just think Rashford.
Aidan, can you tell us your third choice, mate?
As a player,
no, he's lost the plot. He's been fucking drinking again.
People are calling him for the Ballon d'Or, and it does not make sense. Yes, he's playing well. He is playing well, but this is a good purple patch. He's had purple patches before where he'll play scintillating football, but there are moments this season that he has got away with being involved. The goal against Liverpool earlier on this season, it was VAR checked it. He was offside. Everybody could see with the eye that was offside. There was another goal that he scored. I forget who it was earlier this.
I can't believe Rashford's upset you so much that you're going to call him overrated.
I just think he's got too much hype about him, but
he's got hype about him for the right reasons because he's scored the most goals. Like he's one of the best forwards in the league. Like stop. You've done this. You did it with Shaw. You're doing it with Rashford now. You're just trying to get a reaction out of me. You got one, so you win. Well done. But he's not going in this team, so just stop your reasoning.
I think that he is a very, very good player, but people are saying that he is. He's currently playing as a world-class player. Is he a world-class player himself? I think the jury's still out on that. But I think to say that he's up for Ballon d'Or
Marcus
and
Rashford
saying
3 seasons ago was playing with a broken back. He came back from recovering from his surgery, and he has had poor seasons. No one's denying that. But to now go and call him overrated when he's the top scorer in all of Europe since the World Cup by a good 5 or 6 goals is fucking mad. And I'm not entertaining the idea that Rashford's overrated. So, Aiden, please give me your third forward.
If I said Rashford now, you'd fucking explode. But don't worry, I'm not going to.
Because you have some
fucking
common
hell.
sense about you that you're not going to put the
Oh,
best
God.
forward in an overrated team.
Oh, my
We were
God.
stupid.
that's
We were stupid
fucking
enough
killed
to
me,
agree
man.
somehow that Luke Shaw belongs in there. So,
Oh, right. So
this is mad.
I've got
This-
fucking hell. I've gone for Anthony.
See, thank you. A sensible option. Jesus Christ, that wasn't too hard, was it?
So I've gone for Anthony. Yeah. Obviously, big price tag. He's not done a lot apart from spinning the circle a couple of times this season, and he's hit a few finesse shots from outside the box. Other than that, has he done enough? Like we say about Jack Grealish, I think this is close to as well. What is it, 8 million off what Man City paid for Grealish? So
yeah,
No,
yeah, I think
I can get behind the idea of Anthony because he hasn't put up the numbers, and how much Ten Hag has played him is crazy. Like, obviously, that was his boy at Ajax,
yeah,
but that's the thing is, and it's always going to hang over players' heads. Their price tag is, even though we should have had him for a lot less, he's not.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's almost 100 million euros, and you need to now play. And I wouldn't start him in a team now. If I'm picking my first choice United team, he doesn't start for me. Sancho starts for me
Yeah,
on current form. He's had a good moment. He obviously scored the winning goal against Barcelona in the Europa League.
yeah,
Europa League, that competition that the good teams still are left in. You know what I mean? Like, it's not for everyone. Beating the top of the La Liga, you know, as opposed to a fisherman's league in Portugal. But yeah, I can see Anthony being overrated. He needs to do more. He needs to be a lot more disciplined, I think, in attack. He needs to be a lot less one-footed than he is.
yeah.
So yeah, I can back the idea of Anthony.
So it's safe to say we're going to Anthony and not Rashford. I can't speak.
I've still got my last choice because my second choice was Gibbs White, but he's gone in the mid. My third choice is Jota from Liverpool.
Oh, Jota, yeah, that's not a bad one.
I know he's had injuries this season, but when he's come back in, he's not performed as I expected. I like Jota. I even said to you boys the other day that I rated him. Like, I felt bad for him considering that Liverpool went and replaced Firmino. I never liked, but he's good for them. The fact that they've gone and replaced the likes of Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota with Nunes and Gakpo.
Yeah,
Probably for the good for them, but I was like, that's good because Jota's really good and he's a good finisher and he's a good player in certain things, but I don't know. It's almost like he's intimidated now and he's just not putting up the numbers that he has done before.
yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, no, Jota's. I'd love to have Jota at Villa, to be fair.
yeah, I like Jota. I think he's a good player.
But then, like I say, he has gone just quiet.
He's been injured for a while, hasn't he? He's only just come back from injury.
Yeah, he
I
has
agree.
suffered with injuries. I think that was what led them to go and get Gakpo early, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And obviously Luis Diaz being out as well. So
yeah.
But yeah, for me, he's not as good as he makes out to be. I think just because Liverpool fans speak the loudest doesn't always make them right about their players. But
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I just honestly, I can't believe. I was taking the piss earlier when I said Rashford. I can't believe you actually said it.
Did you know what? You know when Sean said earlier, when he was like, they're calling for the Ballon d'Or, I started thinking, I was like, surely he's not going to pick Rashford in this team. I was like, he's not going to, surely.
The only player I said is going to be the future Ballon d'Or winner is Garnacho.
Yeah.
I just think, I know it is an outlandish and wild thing to say, but I think that because he is I don't dispute that he's a very good player. I think he's an excellent player. I just think that he currently, the media attention, which he's getting for the right reasons, is probably overhyped because his contract expires next season. And if Marcus Rashford says, I don't want to stay here, which he would be mental to do, they will be maximizing their profit on him by selling him. If he goes to a Real Madrid or a PSG, I don't know why he would go to PSG, but if Real Madrid, for example, you're going to get 100 million plus for him because he's so highly rated when he's leaving on a free next season. That's why I think he's overrated. I think that I think there's a bit of a campaign about him to build his stock up at the moment on the off chance that he doesn't sign a new contract.
Well, I think what pissed everyone off was obviously this stuff about the government. Like the government came for him when he basically undermined the whole of the UK government by feeding people's kids.
The irony of the Scouse fans that were slamming him when it was their kids that he was feeding.
Yeah.
Exactly that. And that did hang over him for a little while. And now he's put his focus into football. He obviously did have that injury. But there were people that were saying, they were criticising him when he wasn't performing. There were fans that, when PSG came knocking in the summer, said, let him go. And rightly so, because he wasn't performing. And everyone will tell you that. He wasn't the player that people knew he could be.
Yeah.
So,
and 18 months ago, if somebody was to say to you, you've got somebody offering 60 million for Marcus Rashford,
I would have said no. But I'm saying there were people that were saying that he should just go.
Yeah.
But
I think he only scored 5 goals last season, I want to say.
I don't know.
And he wasn't hugely involved, but then you had a really turbulent season last season.
Yeah, as I said, he was recovering from he had shoulder surgery and his back was fucking broken and shit. So I think Marcus Rashford's, he had potential, but that injury sort of, I don't know. I understand that as a United fan, he might get, like, people might go to, like, why is Gareth Southgate not choosing him and choosing Sterling or XYZ as a United fan? But to be called overrated, again, Luke Shaw's in this team, which just undermines it a little bit for me. But to say that he's overrated when he's the best, the most goal-scoring forward in the world since the World Cup is just crazy.
Would you put him on for Ballon d'Or currently?
No.
Okay, then you don't
when you've got
overrate
Erling
him.
Haaland, who's just broke 40 goals in a season. How can I sit here and go Rashford for Ballon d'Or?
The only thing I'm saying is that some fans out there are saying, and you're a level-headed Man United fan clearly, but other people are saying that he's up for Ballon d'Or. That's the only reason why I've put him in the team.
But you can't listen to that. Like that person needs help. Let's just approach this with a bit of common sense. Like, it's easy to get carried away in situations, but no, Rashford's not overrated.
All right, let's not put him in there. So we're nailing on
in there, just to be clear, but yeah.
All right. Richarlison then.
Richarlison's
in there for certain.
And then who are the other options? Anthony. Adama.
I can back Anthony because he does need to do more without a doubt. What I said as well was he just give him a chance, give him time, and if we come back to this in a year's time and he's not performed any better or not done anything spectacular, then the criticism needs to start. But you just need to give a player a chance to adjust to the league and then see what they can do. I think when our team is a little bit more complete, look what Klopp did after 4 years. Look what Arteta's done after, how long has he been there now? Is this his 4th year? Or 3rd?
I think it's been 2.5 years.
Okay, so this is his 3rd season. So give Ten Hag the same time as Klopp and Arteta have had. I thought it was his 4th.
Yeah, it came in 2020, didn't he? Because it was just after COVID, wasn't it?
He took over Unai, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. You're right. I think this is his third. He's been there 3.5 years, I think, actually, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because he left just halfway through
Yeah.
before 2020.
Yeah, because he got COVID against Olympiacos. The director came in or something, didn't he? So, yeah, he was in international, yeah.
Yeah, a lot can change with the player in that time. If a manager persists with someone, you've just got to trust that they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I've got complete faith in Ten Hag at the moment, so yeah.
So Richarlison, Anthony,
Richarlison, Anthony,
and then our last choices are Jimenez, Adama,
or Jota.
or Jota.
That's tough, you know.
I don't think Jota's overrated. I think he's rated correctly,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it would be fair to probably say that as well.
Okay, so no Jota, so Jimenez or Adama.
Say Adama then. Just purely for getting a move to Barcelona.
It's fucking mental, isn't it?
Adama Traore, yeah.
Oh, when you have a look at who they've got in them positions, Rafinha,
Usman Dembele.
Yeah, Dembele, Gavi.
And then you've got Adama Traore just turning up from Wolves on loan. Covered in covered in baby oil, mate. Sat there curling some weights. Oh no, he's not curling weights because apparently he doesn't do weights in the gym.
Yeah, so he says.
Yeah, apparently it's all natural.
He doesn't lift weights, he lifts vans.
Honestly, mate, when he turned up to Villa, he was twig. He was tiny.
Yeah.
That's
he wasn't buff, was he? He went to Middlesbrough. He turned proper buff.
Yeah, because we sent him to Middlesbrough and we got Albert Adoma instead, which turned out to be one hell of a deal. Love Albert Adoma.
Oh dear. So that concludes the full team then.
Yeah. Should we just? I'll let you run through it one more time.
Oh man. I'm blown away. I'm absolutely blown away. I think
it's been an interesting morning.
If Sean's mission was to rattle me, it's fully worked.
Fucking hell, yeah, it fully worked. I think there's about 15 minutes of me crying with laughter and you two fucking just going at each other about Zinchenko and Shaw.
I think in our previous video, it was 2 minutes and 40 seconds to decide the midfield. It took like 20 minutes to decide left back.
Yeah.
Which is still wrong, but we've got Dean Henderson in goal, Luke Shaw at left back, Joel Matip and Kalidou Koulibaly in centre back, Cucurella right back, Mason Mount, Calvin Phillips, Morgan Gibbs-White in the midfield, Richarlison, Anthony, and Adama Traore up front.
Nice. Love that.
I don't know. How do you feel like that is as a team?
Well, I think the left back's spot on, but
what spot on as in a good? Yeah.
I'd say.
Where would that team finish in the Prem?
Fucking hell.
7th or 8th. I think there's some really good players in there. It's just I think that they're rated higher than they are.
You're joking. I think that team would finish probably 16th, 17th.
Oh, you think they'd be on for going down?
Yeah, but do you think, look at their forward three, how many goals have they got between them in assists? That in itself, mate.
I think
Anthony's
got 3, is he? 3 or 4?
I was being stupid and looking at my team again.
Yeah. Fucking Dean Henderson, who's at Forest, they're in the relegation.
To be fair, if anything, they're, apart from Cucurella, it's a pretty good defence. Like, on their day, but...
The midfield's awful. They just get run around ragged. Calvin Phillips went up with a dislocated shoulder after 3 minutes.
Hey, Liverpool had a terrible midfield against us and they won 7-0, so it's not all...
That is true.
It's not all
yeah,
about
that is true.
What about a manager? Do you want to stick an overrated manager in there?
I think there can only be one at the minute, can't there? At the minute, it's got to be Graham Potter.
Well, he's not overrated. Only by Todd.
He fucking was.
I think, yeah, on the season as a whole, yeah, it'd probably be Graham Potter, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I think if we're going overall...
Thomas Frank.
Oh, I think Thomas Frank is doing really good with
Wow.
Wolverhampton.
Yeah, but everyone loves him because he invites people for a drink of wine afterwards.
Fucking sound.
Alex Ferguson used to do that, didn't he, after every game?
No, but they're saying, "Oh, this is a new class. You don't see this from managers."
Oh.
It's like, yeah, he's just copying the best, mate. Yeah, Graham Potter it is.
Yeah. Deal.
Right, that concludes another 11. I have no idea what the next one's going to be, but I don't know. Stay tuned for it if you like.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm fucking excited.
that was a good one. Don't worry, we will kiss and make up after this.
Oh,
I
quality.
think. Right. Thank you very much, guys, for the contribution. See you next week for another Pretend 11.
See you next time.